The clock above the counter ticked lazily as rain tapped against the diner windows. It was one of those small-town roadside diners, faded red booths, the smell of bacon grease, and a neon sign that flickered just enough to feel nostalgic. Lila moved from table to table, her white apron stained, her hair pulled back into a messy bun. Her smile was tired but polite, the kind of smile that hides 1,000 worries. She had been working double shifts ever since her ex-husband walked out, leaving her with bills, rent, and a 6-year-old daughter who still asked every night, "When will Daddy come back?" A group of bikers filled the corner booth. Big men in leather, loud voices, deep laughter that made the other customers glance over nervously. One of them, Rex, wasn't laughing. He sat quietly, his massive frame leaned back against the booth, a scar tracing down from his temple to his jaw. His hands were calloused, his knuckles scarred, but his eyes, they weren't cruel. When they finished eating, Lila came over to clear the plates. She noticed half a burger untouched, fries scattered across the plate, a slice of pie barely touched. Her stomach tightened, she hadn't eaten since morning, and she thought about her daughter at home asking for dinner. She hesitated. Her voice trembled as she asked, Sir, would it be all right if I took the leftovers?" The laughter at the table stopped. Everyone froze. Even the hum of the jukebox seemed to fade. "For my little girl," she added softly, her eyes dropping to the floor. "She really likes burgers." The biker nearest to her raised an eyebrow, smirking, but Rex's gaze stayed fixed on her. His voice, when he spoke, was low and calm. "You feeding your kid off leftovers, ma'am?" Lila swallowed hard and nodded, too embarrassed to speak. For a long moment, no one said a word. The cook leaned over the counter. The couple in the corner stopped eating, and even the coffee pot hissed quieter. The air felt heavy, waiting. Then Rex exhaled slowly, pushed his plate aside, and stood up. "Stay right there," he said. Lila froze as he walked toward the counter. Rex's boots thudded across the linoleum floor. He pulled out his wallet, an old leather one, edges worn soft from years of use, and slapped a thick stack of cash on the counter. "Hey, Jimmy," he said to the cook, his voice deep and steady. "I want you to pack up everything on your menu. One of each, hot, fresh, double portions." The cook blinked, spatula in hand. "You serious, Rex? Do I look like I joke about food?" He grumbled. The diner fell completely silent except for the sound of sizzling on the grill. Even the neon sign outside seemed to pause its flicker. Lila stood rooted by the booth, her fingers gripping the edge of the table. "Sir, I can't accept that," she whispered as he walked back toward her. Rex stopped right in front of her. His jacket smelled faintly of rain and motor oil. "You're not accepting charity, ma'am," he said softly. "You're accepting respect. No kid of yours eats leftovers when I've got a full wallet and a soft spot for hungry kids." Tears welled in her eyes. She wanted to say something, thank you maybe, but no words came out. Within minutes, Jimmy the cook had packed 3 large takeout bags. Burgers, fries, chicken, pie, everything the diner served. Rex carried them himself outside to her car, an old, beat-up sedan with one headlight fogged over. He placed the food in the passenger seat carefully, as if it were something sacred. "Tell your little girl," he said, his rough voice softening, "that bikers ain't always trouble. Sometimes we just know what it's like to go hungry." Lila covered her mouth, tears spilling freely now. "Sir, I don't even know how to thank you." "You don't have to," he replied. "Just promise me one thing. Don't ever be ashamed to ask for help again." He gave her a nod and turned back toward the diner, his boots splashing through shallow puddles under the flickering neon glow. Inside, every single person watched him walk in, and not a single one spoke. When Rex stepped back inside, the air felt different, thicker somehow, like everyone was breathing the same thought but afraid to say it. He sat down at his booth again, took a sip of his coffee, and looked around. Nobody moved. The trucker near the window cleared his throat, stood up, and tossed a 20 onto the counter. "Put that toward her gas," he said. The old couple in the corner whispered to each other. The woman reached into her purse and laid down a 50. "For her daughter," she murmured. Then the teenagers by the jukebox came forward, dropping crumpled bills and coins into the tip jar until it overflowed. The cashier, who'd been working there for years, just stood there crying silently. Lila returned from outside, clutching the car keys to her chest. When she saw what the others were doing, she covered her mouth again. Rex looked up at her with a small smile. "Guess folks needed a reminder, huh?" One of the other bikers, still in disbelief, chuckled. You just made a diner full of strangers start a movement, man. Rex shrugged, leaning back in his seat. Kindness spreads faster than rumors if you let it. For a long while, no one spoke. The sound of rain against the glass filled the silence. When Lila finally found her voice, she walked over and whispered, Thank you, all of you. Rex raised his mug slightly as if to toast her. Don't thank us, he said. Just pass it on someday. The cook wiped his eyes with a towel. Dinner's on the house for everyone tonight, he announced. The diner erupted into quiet applause, not loud but warm, heartfelt. Later that night, as the storm cleared and the highway lights shimmered on wet pavement, Lila's old sedan drove off into the dark. Inside, her little girl sat in the back seat, clutching a paper bag of hot fries, smiling wider than she had in weeks. Back at the diner, Rex and his crew rode out under the stars, engines rumbling like distant thunder. And for everyone who witnessed that night, the memory lingered long after the neon sign went dark. Proof that sometimes, the toughest-looking people carry the kindest hearts.